Well, when you think about it, Memorial Day, barbecues, and triple digits, no better time of year, and school's out than summertime. That means it's baseball time. Hi there, folks. My name is Darren Sutton. This is the only show devoted to amateur baseball in the summertime. This is Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings. We've got a great show for you this week. The number one player in the class of 2025, Konnor Griffin, will join us, and he shares with us that he's got some big news. We'll also talk with the great writer and the great scout, Jheremy Brown. A busy summer on the travel circuit schedule, including All-American games at the 11, 12, 13, and 14U Select Festival level. Jheremy will help us understand what that's all about. The draft is in July, and Brock Porter is, many think, the number one right-handed pitcher in the country. The Michigander will spend time with him as well. But let's get things going with a road trip. So gas it up, plug it in. This is our favorite part of the show. Should we be a little bit biased? Well, we eventually are heading west today. We start this trip in Pittsburgh, where Glendale, Arizona native Nolan Gorman and Peoria, AZ native Matthew Liberatore made their big league debuts for the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend. The 2017 PG All-American Classic teammates and very good friends did not disappoint. Gorman hit safely in all three games, a beautiful PNC, and collected his first Major League RBI. Liberatore made his first Major League start on Saturday, going 4 2/3, striking out 3. It was in a Cardinals 5-4 win. Two young men that we literally watched grow up before our very eyes, now becoming impact major leaguers. I love that story. Speaking of Arizona, that's where we head next to wrap up the brilliant high school career of Gavin Turley. The 21 PG All-American and his Hamilton teammates took down Chandler in the 6A state title game last week, their 8th title since 2003. Turley finished the season triple slashing .317, .489, and an .842 slug with a state record 15 home runs. Here's a better way to say it. Nearly 3/4 of his hits this season went for extra bases. Ridiculous. The Oregon State commit stock is absolutely soaring as the draft approaches. Tucson, Arizona is where Bubba Coleman hails from, though he's now based in Georgia. The number 3 shortstop in the 2026 class has been having himself a spring to remember. Since committing to Jay Johnson and LSU in December, the kid has been raking. In 134 at-bats in PG events this year, he's hitting .366 with 3 homers, a .1077 OPS, and he's even hopped up on the mound, allowing just 2 runs while striking out 20 in 19 innings. We can't wait to see what the summer holds for the young man we simply call by a single name, Bubba. To Anaheim, California we go, where we check in on a young woman by the name of Jillian Albayati. Longtime viewers of this show may remember that we featured her just over a year ago. Well, her senior season on the mound for Anaheim High was simply historic. After a regular season, then playoff run that saw her finish a perfect 11-0 with a 1.68 ERA and 60 strikeouts in 79 innings, she became the first female to pitch in a state championship game, going 9 innings and in 11 inning 2-1 loss to Estancia High. She also hit .362 on the year and drove in her team's lone run in the state title game. Jillian Albayati. What an incredible story. When we come back, speaking of stories, it's been explosive game after explosive game at Jackson Prep and on the travel circuit for the number one player in the 2025 class. Our conversation with Konnor Griffin, and he's got some big news to share. We'll find out what that is right around the corner on Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings. Perfect Game Weekly is presented by Rawlings. Love visiting Mississippi, and we really enjoy the athletes there through the years. Gosh, we got to know Jerion Ely, the great football and baseball player as a PG All-American. But currently, it's the number one player in the 2025 class, and his name is Konnor Griffin, and he spends time with us now.
Yes, sir.
Konnor, thanks for catching up with us. We really appreciate your time.
Anytime. It's an honor to be on here with you guys and just ready to talk about some baseball.
Yeah, okay, let's do it then. State champs, Jackson Prep, you guys won that 6A state championship. Tell me whatever you'd like to tell me about it. You had an amazing year on the mound with the bat in your hands, but what a thrill to be part of a team to win a state title.
For sure. We just worked hard every day at practice and just had an unbelievable year and ended up winning the state championship. And it was just awesome because that was my first state championship actually playing with a varsity team. So it was awesome, and just ready to do it again next year. So
How does a young man with older players, yet an impact player? I mean, you had a 608 on base percentage. You struck out 59 in 42 innings unofficially.
mhm.
Those are all amazing numbers. How does a younger player still show the respect to those upperclassmen while still kind of being the heartbeat of the team? How did you manage that?
You just got to have a mindset of just going out there and competing. Whether you're playing against guys that are 2 to 3 years older than you or playing with your own age, you just got to have the same mindset. If you're going to go out there, give it your all, compete, and just do what you can do, and just let your skills take over.
So the first time we ever saw you was a long, long time ago in 2017. You were at a 12U event. You were 5'4", 105 pounds. Now, of course, you were all tournament because you've done that quite a bit at PG events.
Mhm.
Give me quickly your measurables now.
I'm 6'4", 190 pounds now.
So for you, the evolution physically has also seen you evolve in baseball. An impact player on a varsity team, an All-American level player twice with select festival events for Perfect Game. Now with family and friends, with your parents around and your dad, an excellent softball coach, wins just about every year. You've kind of got some news you want to share with us because you guys, with all that knowledge, have pulled things together. And I know you wanted to share some news with us. I'll give you the floor.
Right. Yeah, so we're deciding that I'm going to reclass to the class of 2024, and the reason we're doing this is so that I can get on a college campus earlier, make and just next year, like September 1st or so, I can start taking visits and just getting to know those coaches quicker and just trying to find that place that fits right for me. But just it's a big decision, and we've talked about it with family, coaches, and I think it's the right decision to go ahead and make that move to the class of 2024.
That's a big choice, my friend. Congratulations with the support of Kevin and Kim, your parents, and making that decision.
Yeah.
When did that first pop into your head? Because ultimately, it's your journey. You have
hmm
great parents to lean on. When did that first pop into your head? Kind of give me the seminal moment of that.
Yeah, well, we finished this past summer with travel ball and stuff, and it was a really good summer. Played the Perfect Game Select Fest and played in a lot of Perfect Game tournaments, and just competed really good. And I'm ranked number one in Perfect Game, so just competing all summer, just playing against really good competition, and I just want to make it even more challenging for myself. Just bumping up to 2024 and competing against those guys, and just I feel like it'll make me better as a player and just help me out in the long run.
Yeah, and the athletes we've spoken with that have taken this on, one of the bigger challenges immediately is the academics in the short
Right.
term. Explain how you plan to tackle that.
So I'm gonna take some classes this summer and just go ahead try to get ahead. I took a few classes this past year as well, just here and there, just to kind of just get me in front of the 2025 class going into 2024. It's going to be hard, but just I just got to keep my academics where they're at right now, and just continue just to be a student athlete, and just continue just to keep my grades where they are, and just take classes that they're going to be challenging, but it's nothing that I can't do.
Yeah, you ready for it, huh?
Yes, sir.
A prayerful person. There might be some prayerful nights getting you through studying and sleep and
Right.
exams
Yeah.
and getting your workouts in. I've loved watching your journey wearing USA across your chest, and you're going to continue to do that. You, in all likelihood, have some multiple gold medals as part of your future. But I want to selfishly ask you about Perfect Game. Does this mean,
hmm
in all likelihood, you'll be attending PG National? I mean, at the junior level, PG Junior National this year?
it's on our plan for this summer, and so I'm looking forward to that event because it's a really good event.
Hey, congratulations on this decision. More than anything, just congratulations on where you're at in your life at 16 years old. You're what about a couple of weeks removed from your 16th birthday. Good family life at
hmm
home, good support for you. Now we can't wait to see what's next. Dude, you're jumping up. You're a junior next year.
Right. Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. We look forward to connecting with you all summer long.
All right. I appreciate it.
The talented Konnor Griffin, when we return, the great writer and scout Jheremy Brown will join us and explain how this actually impacts two classes, the class of 25 and the class of 24. This is Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rollins. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings and PG, so strong at that 13 and 14U age group, and the national director at that age group of player development spends time with us now, Jheremy Brown. Jheremy, happy summertime. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I appreciate it. So happy to jump on before the chaos begins once again.
Yeah, the right kind of chaos. So when we brought you on and booked you, we wanted to talk with you about select festivals and all that goes on at that age group. But now we're going to shift gears just a little bit because we just found out that Konnor Griffin, as part of a bigger interview, which we enjoyed, has reclassified. He has now moved from a 25 to the 24 class. You're the expert. How does this impact, first off, the 24 class, the class that he is entering, where we see names like Derek Curiel, Chase Mobley, Michael Molinax, Kadar Ambidi? How does he impact those rankings?
Yeah, so I've long said Konnor Griffin might just indeed be the best 14U player I've ever personally scouted in the handful of years we've done the festival. It's high-end athleticism, high-end just bat-to-ball skill, running, arm strength. Like, he's up to 92 on the mound, and he doesn't really even pitch. And when you take the whole collection of tools, the athleticism, the body, the projection, and you put him into the 24 class, not much is going to change from, I don't think, his 2025 ranking. I think you're going to see him right there in the top 1, 2, 3 guys of that class.
So it's interesting, and he shared he thinks that his schedule allows him to go to the Junior National Showcase. So you go from kind of really the last showcase big one you did was 14U in front of you guys to all the way up to the Junior National. This will be a nice test for him to go to Junior National, yes?
Yes, for sure. It's a good way to kind of get his feet wet, set the tone of things to come for him in terms of how do I fit amongst my new group of peers. And I think just between the bat speed, like we had mentioned, the strength he already possesses in the swing, and the long-term projection, he's not going to falter. I think he's not going to miss any steps. And when we get down to East Cobb for the Junior National, you're not going to think anything of it other than that kid's really good.
So, H, are there one or two players that you're really looking forward to laying eyes on at East Cobb, the event in June at the Junior National Showcase? Are there one or two that you'd like to mention? Man, I can't wait to see where they're at.
Yeah, he's one, definitely. I mean, every time throughout the seasons, you get his basketball clips, you get his football clips, and I would text his dad jokingly, like, hey, is Saban on him yet for football? Is Coach K on him yet for basketball? Because he's that type of athlete where if he focused anything, all of his attention on anything, if he wanted to be the world's best wakeboarder, I'm sure he could do that, just in terms of his athleticism. Like, he picks it up and he's going to excel. And just seeing how he does with the new class and how he kind of cements himself amongst the top is something I'm looking forward to. Derek Curiel, like you had mentioned before, the current #1 player in the 24 class, coming off a big spring season. He missed a lot of last spring, kind of a slow start to the summer, still coming back. And now he's back. He's doing big things at Olu. He's already making a name for himself nationally, even amongst area guys, pro scouts, and he still has a couple more years until he gets to hear his name called.
Yeah, an All-Trinity League performer at Olu. That's an incredible league to be named All-League, especially as an underclassman. You're right, with Derek Curiel. Hey, by the way, the 25 class that he says goodbye to, Konnor, and he jumps up to the older age group. Tell us a little bit about where that leaves the 2025 class with that #1 spot empty.
Yeah, so Sam Cozart, I believe, is currently #2. I would think he probably slides right back up. Him and Konnor were jockeying for 1-2 the whole time since we released rankings, and rightfully so. I mean, Cozart is physical, he's a specimen, and he's different. He's huge, but he's able to pitch. He's not going to just try to blow 92 by you. He's got 3, 4, 5 pitches he can locate for strikes. I know that's something his dad, Craig Cozart's big on, is the location, low pitch counts, working ahead in the count. And when you have that combination of present stuff, size, command, you're looking at a special arm, not just a big body who can throw hard.
Jumping ahead to the third week of July, just after the MLB All-Star Game in LA, just after the draft, at St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Trop, the home of the Rays, is Perfect Games National Showcase. Selfishly, I'm excited to see Maxwell Clark in person. He wasn't a guy that's been buried in PG events, yet he's the #1 player in the class. Look ahead to National, and let's start with Clark. Maybe someone else you'd like to see, but let's start with Clark, what we'll see at PG National.
You're going to see fast twitch athleticism, explosive athlete. I mean, he posts videos on Twitter of him all the time lifting and benching more weight than I could ever imagine. He's built differently mentally, what he does on and off the field, how he goes about his business. It's strictly business. When he's on the field, it's go, 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 100%. He's got the bat speed, the strength, I think he just set his school record for home runs. He has a 6.5 speed. We're talking mid-upper 90s arm potentially from the outfield. And reports from this spring have that fastball climbing low mid-90s on the mound from the left side. He's number one. I guess I won't deviate too much. For me, number 3 is Thomas White. He's a local product for me. 6'5 lefty, mid-90s, silky smooth arm action. I'll be a bit of a homer and say I want to see what he does, just kind of on the big scene. He kind of like is Max Clark in that he hasn't done a ton of perfect game stuff yet, but he is well known, obviously. Ranked number 3, committed to Vanderbilt, just like Clark. And maybe we get a matchup of those two going head to head if their two teams do happen to pit against each other. That would be fascinating to see who comes out on top.
Real quickly, you're going to help me tease because Dylan Lesko, who was the number 1 right-handed pitcher in the country heading into this summer's draft, unfortunately has had Tommy John surgery. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a first-round pick. He probably will be. A team will take a chance on him. They'll help him heal, and he's going to be a star. Brock Porter is ranked number 2 amongst right-handed pitchers right now. Does that kind of, in your mind, make Brock Porter the top right-handed pitcher available in the draft coming out of high school?
If you look at it in terms of performance right now, for sure. I mean, he's got a fastball that'll flirt with triple digits, got probably the best changeup in the class, an ever-evolving breaking ball. So we're talking about 3 pitches, electric arm speed. And he goes to Orchard Lake St. Mary from friend of Brian Zakowski. So any friend of his is a friend of ours. And Brock's probably going to be off the board top 10 picks come this July's draft.
H, thanks for joining us and helping me with the tease.
Absolutely.
When we come back, my conversation with Brock Porter, who may be having his name called very, very early in the draft. I got a chance to go to Michigan. It was an enjoyable trip and an unforgettable chat. This is Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rollins. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rollins. Picture this, Michigan boy, fearless in the snow, 7 years old, flying down the ski slopes as a ski racer, slalom and giant slalom, very best in his age group and those that are a couple years above him. That's the story of the man we talked about last segment, Brock Porter. But he's put the skis in the closet. He still comes down the hill. It's just a hill in the middle of a diamond. And when he comes down that hill, it's probably faster, close to 100 miles an hour. Let's make this clear. He will be a first-night pick in the MLB amateur draft. All this uniqueness comes together in a very incredible athlete. I went to Michigan and had a conversation with Brock Porter.
Midwest baseball is gritty. You know all the Southern teams, they're watching you and they're thinking you're not any good. And I just like competing in general, sports, school, everything. Yeah, I'm definitely a leader, hopefully the best kid on the team, and I'm gonna go out there and give it my all every time.
The greatest story that you can recollect of being a baseball player, I need you to storytell. Take me back. This time in my life, I'll never forget going through it. What happened?
Probably, I went to Puerto Rico when I was 10 years old. I played with actually Nolan Schuhart, another teammate, and we went there and played with a local team here and played against all the Puerto Rican teams and other U.S. teams. And I ended up pitching in one of the games, and I threw a no-hitter, and then I also hit the walk-off ground rule double to win it, and it was just a memory I'll never forget.
So you didn't really help the team at all that day?
Oh, no, not at all.
You didn't really help the team at all that day. What was that freshman state championship like for you?
Yeah, it was different. I think going into that year, it was a little bit of a struggle just playing with the older guys and seeing what it's all about, and then ended up getting the start in the state championship game, and I pitched really well, and we ended up winning, and it was pretty much just a miracle. It felt great.
Why did Clemson earn your commitment?
Well, first of all, the ACC conference is awesome, and playing in that would be a dream. And of course, I want to become, the Friday night starter, hopefully. And talking with the coaches, Coach Lee and Coach C, and just fall in love with them and their program and what they had to say about it. And then going on my visit this offseason was awesome. Got to meet all the players and the team and just see what they're all about there.
When we talked in the summer, part of your workouts that you had shared, Pilates, yoga, you still doing it?
Yep, every Saturday and Sunday.
For a man who's 6 feet 4 inches tall, what is the most challenging pose in Pilates or yoga?
Yoga, I don't know, the pigeon pose always gets me. I have a little bit tighter hips, so I think that helps me a lot, but I like that one.
Do me a favor here and hold out in front of your body and just introduce your pitches, and then introduce some of the why it's important to you, why this pitch matters to you.
So first I got my fastball, four-seam fastball. I can use this, at any time. I like throwing it. I throw it pretty hard. I like to work up in the zone, especially with 2 strikes. I've always thrown it the same way. And then I got my my go-to off speed, my changeup, circle change. I've thrown this ever since I was 6 years old, and it's super familiar with me, and I can throw it at any point in the count, any time. Super comfortable with it. I love it. And then I've been developing this slider. Definitely my newest pitch. I'm trying to throw it harder and try to get a little bit of bite. It tunnels with my fastball pretty good, and it's kind of a swing and miss pitch. And then I got my knuckle curve, and I've been throwing this pretty recently. It's a little bit slower, a little bit loopier, but it has a lot of depth on it, and I like to use it kind of later in the counts or swing and miss pitch too. But I'm super comfortable with throwing it for a strike. I can throw it at a strike any time of the count. So.
I don't know how many mock drafts there are out there, but here I see you Padres most recently. Isn't that fun, right? 15th overall pick. How do you handle that attention?
Yeah, I mean, I think I see those things, and I look at them, and everybody, will say something to me, but I really just try to keep my head still, and I'm just working towards a state championship, and that's really all I'm focused on, and just being with my teammates and just being a senior and enjoying it.
Thank you. Amazing. We're done.
Good.
Thank you. We want to thank Brock for his time, the folks at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. We want to thank Konnor Griffin and their family for allowing us to kind of be the bearers of very, very unique news that impacts Major League Baseball and his future, and college baseball. We can't wait to see where he commits, the insights of Jheremy Brown as well, and how all of that touched the class. If you enjoyed what you found on your regional sports network, on your cable or satellite dish, you certainly can find us all the time, 24/7. Go to your smart device and download Perfect Game TV. We're devoted 24/7 to amateur baseball and softball. This has been Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. My name's Darren Sutton. Have a great summer.